Okay, I'm back with some more remote viewing of the ET from the 1996 UFO crash in Varginha, Brazil. I've already discussed 3 pages of a remote viewing session with him. Actually, I forgot how many I did, and I thought that one of those was the deeper session where I connected with him a second time, but that was actually all from the first session. Um, there were so many pages, I thought it was multiple sessions, but it really wasn't. This is the other session I did later when I reconnected with him. We were taught how to reconnect with one of the beings that we had met earlier in the week. So then I just started talking to him. And I'm going to go see what he said because I don't remember any of this. I don't know what he said. So I drew him. There he is with 3 horns. I already knew what he looked like at this point because I had learned who he was from the previous session. So this wasn't from intuition or my psychic gifts. This was me knowing what he looked like. So when we started this session, I drew a connection between myself and him. There's him with the horns right there. And I asked him if we could talk. So this is supposed to be a conversation, and that's what it is. I said, "May we continue our conversation?" He says, "Yes. Also, can you help guide me?" And he said, "Yes." So then I'm going to go over here to the left-hand side for my first impressions. So I said, let's see. Apologizes for what humans did to you when they found you, and I love you. I'm telling him I'm sorry that you got captured and you died. I don't know what happened to him while he was here, and I was telling him I was sorry. So my feelings at the time were wide awake, excited, but also tired, and I feel good. So I'm in the purple, and Melafon is in the blue. So see, here's all my questions, and here's his answers. He's way more talkative than me, which is great. So it's just an interview, basically. I'm gonna go read it. So I said, "Hi, what's the most important thing you want to discuss today?" And he said, "The way you rise above the human matrix, you've gone far. You know the systems you all live under are BS. Systems that don't support or actively suppress connecting inward or to any higher consciousness. We can keep going farther." What does that say? Farther? Yeah. Okay. How do we go farther? I said. He says, "Disengage from society, withdraw without bypass, or he said, well, disengage from society without bypassing or disengaging from life. Choose fun, happy activities and thoughts, and ignore anyone and anything that tamps that down. You already know this, though," which I do. Then I said, "So please tell me something I can do that I don't know, you know?" And he said, "Every morning, connect with me and draw symbols or whatever. I can send you symbolic language. Morning is a good time when your mind is clear. Stay off the phone and social media. Detach from fear and groupthink mentality. You're way beyond that." I totally forgot he said I could channel symbols with him, that it could be a language. I was just channeling like this, just talking to him. But I had not stopped and gotten symbol language from him, which I do love. I do love channeling that, so that'll be fun. Then I said, "Can you please be one of my guides?" And he says, "Yes, I already am. Hence why you got such a personal feeling from our first session." Oh, and then my pen ran out, so I switched to a different colored pen. So from our first encounter, "I'm your guide this time in your life, for this period of my life is about mastery of self and environment." So he's telling me he's here to help me master myself and my environment. Don't ask me what this pinwheel thing is. I never knew what that was. So then over here, I just kept on going. I guess this is me still talking, isn't it? Okay, yes. I said, you are clearly evolved and enlightened, but you died in such a sad and tragic way. Can you help me understand the purpose of that? Doesn't sound fun to me. He's talking about having fun all the time, and then this happened. It made me sad. And he said, I died doing what I loved. No shame in that. Our consciousness, ourselves, survive physical death, as you well know. So these are the possible outcomes. The point of a well-lived life isn't to avoid pain or death, because death is a graduation to the next level. I up-leveled when my body died. As you already know, that's why you're ready to work with me. You are living these concepts. They aren't just concepts or theories to you, which is true. So then I said, what would you like to talk about next? And he said, my life now. I left my mark on your planet. That's for sure. I consider it a success. Awakening people like that had to be drastic. I don't regret it. Now I get to work with the brightest minds from your species. You get private mentoring like you wanted. Our morning sessions will be like the astral school that you've asked for, because I have asked for that. To be taught by my guides in school every morning. I've been wanting that. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next page. Okay. This is the next page and the last page. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. That's his ship, by the way, according to the people who saw it. And look what I drew. Boop. There it is right there. I asked him what his ship looked like, and I drew a lozenge. And at the last minute, I put these fins on it, and I didn't think they looked right, but I did it anyway. And then when I go to watch the documentary about him, this is what they showed. This guy said, it was a lozenge shape. I thought it was a blimp. That's Melafon right there. Those are some images of him right there. But I'm trying to get to this image right here. This is what they said it looked like. His ship was just a tic-tac. And that's what I drew. And I said so. I said, it's, when I asked what the ship looked like, I drew an old school UFO saucer, but I knew that wasn't it. Turns out in Varginha, Brazil, in the town where this happened, they erected a statue of an old school flying saucer UFO just to commemorate the event. So that was accurate. But then I also drew the tic-tac, and I described it. It's elegant, elongated, sleek. It's modern. There's no windows. It's light-colored and metallic, smallish, biomorphic, and it's a conscious ship, meaning it's partly conscious. It connects with the consciousness of the people who run it, who fly it. So this is the last page. Let me zoom in and see what I said. I drew this spiral thing. Let me see what I said on there. Points of reference in my consciousness, major events and shifts that I can visit anytime. I guess he's saying that if I want to visit different points of my life, I can. I don't know if we went into that. Let me see. So me. What? That's weird. I wrote that I'm in the pink and they're in the purple, but that seems like the opposite of what I did. So anyway, I said, what is that spiral? And then I wrote, your brain on drugs. Remember that commercial from the 70s? Like when they cracked an egg into a pan and said, this is your brain on drugs. So that's what I heard as a joke. We're going through layers of your consciousness and exposing deeper and deeper levels of awareness. Okay, that's cool. And then I said, do you have anything to tell me about a big positive change that I can make in my life now? And he said, start doodling and writing in the morning with me. that's plenty. Which I did, and it was plenty. It starts my day off really nice every day. He gives me good advice every day. So then I said, when life gets difficult or scary, what should I do? And he said, see that spiral above? Each point is a point in your life that you can go to the past or the future. See how they are all just little dots and they're all connected, like a spiral. Remember, nothing is as important as you think normally. Life never really ends, and you aren't making mistakes. So he's just saying, don't sweat the small stuff. It's all just a little blip on an endless continuing spiral of your unfolding life, and that you really can't make a mistake. It's all just learning. And then I said, can I please see what your ship looks like? And then I drew it, right here. So that's one of the reasons I knew, for a lot of reasons, that I was really connecting to this being. I can feel it in my body. I have clairsentience, so I can feel different energies and consciousnesses when they enter my field very easily. And I knew I was definitely connected to him. So the fact that I knew that I had already gotten some accurate information about him, and that I drew his ship exactly looking like it looked, helped me have confidence that I was actually channeling this being. When I'm doing my Melafon sessions on YouTube, I'm confident that it's him because I've gotten this kind of information about him, with nothing other than the fact that I had 8 random numbers given to me. And in this case, I was purposefully reconnecting with him a second time. So this wasn't a blind session. This was technically front-loaded, but we had been taught how to connect. So it was accurate. So that's one of the ways that I know I'm talking to him. I have verified my own evidence over the past few months. You know what I mean? So I kept going with him. And I said, what is the thing I do that gets in my own way the most? In the way of my own progress. And he said, self-doubt, self-defeating thoughts. You're doing great, but there's still some of that left over. You could pretend you're a different version of yourself from a parallel reality and try something new, knowing it can't really hurt you or ruin anything. Take off your old persona and put on a different one, like trying on clothes. That's an interesting perspective. I forgot he said that. That's pretty cool. Just sort of pretend to be an alternate version of yourself. You're still you, but maybe you're the you that takes ballet classes because you always wanted to, but you never did. And just if you pretend you're a version of yourself from another reality, especially if it's something that you actually want to do, that is a verified technique, actually, to imagine yourself as the person that you want to be, and then act like it. You don't just imagine it and do nothing. You start behaving like that version of yourself. That's the higher self, the more advanced version of yourself. Just go be that person. So that's good advice. He said, I'll give you exercises and charts when we connect in the morning school sessions, he said. He hasn't given me a chart yet, but I wasn't thinking about that either. I was trying to write with him. I wasn't thinking about drawing things with him. So then I said, can you help me bilocate and have out-of-body experiences more frequently and easily? Can you meet me in some of these experiences? And he said, oh, yes. That's one reason we are working together. I asked for the top student that I could get. That's amazing that he asked for me. I love it. I said, can you help me see Chris and Ember, which is Chris and my child in spirit? He said, yes. You have fear and doubt about seeing them in front of you. Like physically appearing in front of me with my eyes open when I'm not asleep or in meditation is what he's talking about. We can practice and build up to that. So then I said, can you come visit me? And he says, I can appear to you It isn't my physical body, but it will appear and feel the same. Physical presence is only one expression of energy, but it's all made of energy anyway. I will appear to you. So he's definitely saying he can appear to me. And then I said, can we do dream meetups that I will remember? And he says, yes. Try and turn off your phone at night, or at least listen to meditation music. Which, one of the habits that I have that's not great is falling asleep listening to a show on my phone. So I think it disturbs my dreams, and I don't remember my dreams so much. So what he's telling me is, if I want to do that I should turn off my phone, which is absolutely true. And that has actually helped. I have been trying that, and I've been remembering my dreams. And I had a visitation dream with my twin flame, Chris, which is not something that happens very often. So he was right about that. Okay, thank you so much for watching another session of my initial remote viewing meetings with Melafon.